Hello, everyone. Good evening. We'll just wait for 2 minutes. The strength is comparatively low. Then we'll start. Okay. Okay. What are the funnels of marketing? What did we discuss last class? What are the funnels of marketing? What are the funnels of marketing? You can't hear me? Yeah, awareness. What does awareness mean? What does awareness mean? Awareness, consideration. Awareness, consideration. Awareness, consideration, and conversion. The funnels of marketing are awareness, consideration to conversion. Hope everyone have done the content calendar of the last class. Like, um, you don't have any doubts in the content calendar, right? Do you have any doubts in the content calendar? Hope it is clear. Okay. So awareness, consideration, and conversion. These are the funnels of marketing where we will try to understand how exactly each funnel actually works. Okay, that is what we had discussed. In the awareness, it's majorly about making people know about your brand, communicating about the brand, spreading some kind of awareness about the brand. That is a very broader thing. Okay, and then we have consideration where people are actually showing some interest towards your product. That is consideration. Yeah, in consideration, it's very important for someone to understand that how exactly your product has been pursued and what are the things they're actually doing to make sure the content is actually enhanced and people recognize it. Okay, and that is on consideration. And conversion is once all the audience have made already know the product, how exactly they are uh, buying it or any kind of purchase decision is called as conversion. Okay, this is the entire funnel of marketing. We have different parameters we'll track in these things. We'll understand the customer journey. Before that, there are few things we have to understand in terms of brand psychology. Okay, hope my screen is visible. Okay, awareness, consideration, and conversion, where we majorly focus on, where we majorly focus and try to understand what are the ways in which we are trying to enhance the kind of targetings whichever we have. Okay, so then what we have to focus on when it comes to awareness, consideration, conversion, audience research is very important, where we have to understand the survey, online survey, maybe analyze the kind of followers demography. For example, if you go to Instagram, you will have demography. I'll show it to you maybe tomorrow on how exactly the demography analysis is being done using one of the account, and then how the ads can be created, basic ads on Instagram. I'll show it tomorrow, but try to understand the overview where in the entire social media you have to understand the kind of interaction or the kind of engagement activity the brand has, the competition analysis, what your competitors are doing, what you are missing out, what your strengths are. All these studies are there in the competitor analysis. Okay, and then we have what is the customer survey. So as we told, the advantage of offline marketing is it is both the ways. It is not passive, but it is an active way of communication where brand can tell about their product and people can receive the feedback from them. It is both the ways. It will help the brand to stand out. Okay, and then we have to create the buyer persona. Buyer persona is based on their past experience, past interaction. How they're actually pursuing the brand is something which is important. Okay, here we'll just have a small activity. Try to we discussed on what is the buyer persona and what is the psychography. Based on your behavior, try to write one sentence for psychographical behavior and one sentence for your buyer persona. Do it fast. You can leave it on the chat section. Do it fast. I'll give you 2 minutes. Give one sentence on buyer persona and one sentence on the kind of behavior they have with respect to the psychological behavior. Everyone take part, write at least one sentence. Take part. Did you understand the question? Yeah, do it fast. What is ideal customer now? Buyer persona is a detailed description of ideal customer, like based on. No, it's not about your buyer behavior. It's about your past experiences, and psychology is based on your interest. This is the perfect differentiation. Okay, buyer persona is based on your past experiences, any kind of interaction, any kind of visibility which you're doing, but psychology is based on interest. Okay, give an example of maybe your day-to-day activity, any example based on um, the situation which you would have faced. Try to answer quickly. See, for example, I am someone who is interested in maybe fashion, lifestyle, everything. But recently, I'm only watching and only showing interest towards gym equipments, gym diet food, proteins, all these things. Then my buyer persona is with respect to the present segmentation or the present targeting which I'm segregated to. Okay, that is why we tell STP segmenting, targeting, and then positioning that. This is the funnel in which the marketing works. So it's important for you to understand how the flow is actually going in. Then we have to understand when it comes to social media, every brand has their own voice. Like if you see Puma, Adidas, they try to not sell apparels. Okay, they try to position themselves as a brand. See, for example, as an individual, I am an individual. I am someone who is interested and passionate about my interest is towards maybe um, art and craft. Okay, I am someone who has my own craft studio where I do painting, drawing, everything. Okay, so that is my interest, or that is the kind of psychological behavior which I have, that as an individual I am someone who is following it very religiously. Okay, but when it comes to buyer persona, maybe recently I have not bought quilling papers or markers or color pencils. I have bought maybe something like washing machine, refrigerator, table mats, curtains, all these things. Then what I'll be targeted on? I'll be targeted as someone who is recently shifted the house, or someone who is recently buying something which is relevant to home and living. Based on that, I am being targeted with respect to the ads, whichever is getting entered. Now, my buyer persona is different and my psychological is interest is different. My interest is for long term. Like if not today, someday I will buy the product. For example, someone who is very passionate about F1 cars, racing cars, if not today, someday they will buy. That means they are being categorized under the psychological interest, but when it comes to their buying decision, maybe presently they are just focusing on something else. They are trying to buy maybe something related to fitness or something like that. That time they will be targeted based on what is their buyer persona. Okay. Psychological behavior is with respect to interest, but buyer persona is with respect to your past experiences which you have. Okay. And then we have every brand has to be communicated in such a way that they should have some kind of unicity. If you see any brand, what is the color? Puma, if you see, or Adidas, you see, most of them, the if the socks is white color, the logo is black color. Okay, if the shoes is orange color, the logo is black. So their logos and the kind of brand voice which is there, it is surrounded with black and white only. Okay, but when it comes to KFC, most of them use red and yellow. Okay, so that is the brand identification they have. Okay, when you go into Starbucks, you will automatically come to know without even seeing the name, it is a Starbucks because of the consistent colors. They have always green and this brown. Okay, most of their logos are green and the background they'll try to mimic it in terms of brown. So what is the visualization which they have with respect to colors, fonts, logo, and the design also? Every Starbucks, the design is almost the same. Maybe the location is different, ambience is different, but the color combination, sense of it, everything is same. If you go to Cafe Coffee Day also, most of them will be same because they want to have brand recognition. Okay, whenever it comes to maybe if you go to Puma, all their outlets will have similar style. Maybe their infrastructure will be slightly different, but most of the styling of how the products are displayed, everything. If you go to a lifestyle also, if you go to any mall lifestyle, the sense of the arranging of rows or the kind of dress patterns they have all look slightly similar. I had recently been to H&M where I observed a trend where their collections, everything was pastel. Then I went to some other H&M in some other mall. There also their entire store looked very similar. Okay, they didn't have a lot of categorization or category differentiation. Most of the products were same. Okay, that is how identification of brand happens. Then we have brand voice. For example, if any brand is being very bold, like for example, if you see um, this Maybelline tells we are into bold colors. So automatically when you talk about the brand, it reflects there. They are into styling, they have bold colors. Lakme does fashion weeks where they tell themselves that we are not only limited to beauty, but beauty is with respect to fashion. So whenever such brand has a very good voice, or if some brand has something where it is resonating their audience, it's very, very easy for them to build the trust. Okay. Then we have community engagement. Community engagement is interacting with your clients. You're asking about your services. You're trying to understand what is the kind of conversion that happens. You're building the bond. All these things is happening with respect to communication. So that is why when trust has to be built, valuable content helps to establish the brand as it is authenticity and authority, and then trusted source from the industry. To drive engagement, entertaining and educating content is something which gets back people's attention and interact. Then the last funnel is conversion. To have conversion specifically, place the promotional content so that uh, yeah, effectively we can have better leads. That is how from awareness you're spreading value from your content, then you're going to consideration where you're educating, entertaining, so that people can interact with you, build their trust, and then you're converting them using your promotional activity content. This is how the entire funnel is being driven. Is this clear? This is also something relevant to your funnels of marketing only. Okay, once we are aware, like till here, do you have any doubts? Till here, do you have any doubt? Now we'll understand what is the fundamentals of sales. Okay. Next week, we'll try to deep dive and understand what are the things we track. That time, we'll take e-commerce. Okay. We have covered social media. Okay. We'll cover this ads tomorrow, like how to run ads, how to create a campaign that we'll learn tomorrow. And then today, we'll be doing sales. And next week, entirely, we'll be doing e-commerce. So, major focus for this entire workshop is on these things: social media and the kind of a campaign creation or the kind of ad creation. We have e-commerce and then we have sales. Okay. Sales is also a major part of marketing, but as I told, it's something where you have to understand the logic. It's majorly on how you observe your environment. Okay, what are the things you're observing beside you for you to actually make a better marketing or better strategy to convince a brand? Recently, I was watching a movie. Okay, I'm not able to recollect the movie. It was related to this during COVID. It is a real story, some COVID incident, a real story it was. In that movie, the person, like the hero, was given a role where he has to sell a filter. Okay, he was just a assistant where his manager took him to actually sell a water filter. So the way his manager was speaking was more towards why they should have the filter, because the manager was trying to convince the client or the couple, telling that you should have a filter because you can take care of your health in this old age. No one will be there for you, so you will prevent yourself from actually falling sick. All these things he was trying to explain. Okay, but the hero, who was not even a salesperson, he was just an assistant to come and show the product demo. He started telling that, see, if you're buying this product, it has a lot of advantage for you than actually taking the tap water, heating it. Actually, your gas is being wasted. Gas monthly, for that only, if you're spending 2 to 3 thousand on heating the water or doing any kind of activity, filter water, there is no need of you to actually like boil it again. You can directly consume once it is a filter water. So you'll be saving a lot of money with respect to your LPG. This is one time investment. And also you're falling sick frequently. So the kind of frequency will get reduced. It's not like you will not get cured and you will not fall sick only is not the claim. Frequently, you will not fall sick if you are drinking good water, because water is something which we consume most of the time, the entire day. Okay, so in that case, he tried to convince, telling that when you have fallen sick, your medical, the hospital visitor fees and your medicines will be almost 3 months equal to buying a filter. So he was morely talking about the value addition than the features of the uh, air purifier. Like that, we have to observe minute things around us. Okay, then try to build a story around it so that there is some kind of connection which happens. Okay, there are few standardized strategies which sales executives follow. Maybe we will discuss one on one. But sales is majorly on how you communicate, how you know the product better, and how you can understand the customer needs to serve them a better and good product. These are the major things you have to consider. Okay. So here it's a sales workshop kind where we will try to understand what is the critical role of sales in business and develop skills necessary to engage effectively the client, and also few case studies of existing businesses so that you get a better idea. Okay. So yeah, this entire thing is designed to make sure that you have a clear roadmap. If you're going into sales, what are the parameters you have to actually understand and consider in terms of reaching out to customers. Okay. In whenever you take about sales, okay, you should first have customers. You should have first data. Only then you can reach out to them and try to understand what is the kind of output you are expecting from them. Okay, participants can expect how sales are actually sales strategies are being there, how effectively and engagingly you can build the relationship with customers, and also you can try to leverage on different forecasting. What do you mean by forecast? What do you mean by forecast? Predicting. Predicting is not exact word. Predicting is like you're doing guess. Okay, the product will be needed. Forecast is slightly close to predicting, but it is slightly advanced because whenever you're forecasting something, whenever you're predicting something, you will take a guesswork. You're not actually working on the real data. Okay, when it comes to your data, you will actually read the data and analyze the trends which are happening instead of just giving a prediction. Okay, that is the major difference between prediction and forecast. Forecast is you're trying to estimate, or you're trying to see the market trends and try to analyze what can be the output. Okay, what more than can, what will be the output you will be trying to forecast. For example, I will tell that out of 100 people, at least 100 people will join. I'll tell out of the entire crowd, at least 100 people will join was my, not my prediction, but it was a forecast. Why? Because from 3 days, I'm seeing that there are around 100 people minimum. So that is a and that is not a forecast. That is a forecast, not prediction. Okay, but if I am predicting, maybe like I'm just predicting that today it will rain, there is no data for that. Simply, I'm just telling that I'm predicting seeing the sky. There is no data trends which are. Hello, am I audible? Yeah, so I'll be making sure that I will try to analyze and I will try to forecast what are the things that are required. Okay, so sales versus revenue. What is sales and what is revenue? What is the difference between, generally, what is the difference between sales and revenue? Generally, like day to day, you're doing activities. No, you're going for some mall, then you're buying something. So, what is the difference between sales and revenue? Revenue can also be a soft voice. Like every time, the revenue also is not like there is no credit. There is some kind of credits there also. If you're selling something, then the revenue is being generated. So sales is about the process of selling something to generate money, which becomes your revenue for your organization. Okay, that is the linking of both. Yeah, revenue and this. Okay, so try to understand that how your sales and revenue is being forecasted. Sales serve the primary engine of generating revenue for our organization. Understanding the dynamics of how sales impact the business growth is something which is crucial. Okay, what does this mean? That the amount of sales someone can generate is directly proportional to the revenue the company can generate. That is why I was talking to one of my friend. He was telling that his company is not allowing Saturdays off because the company's revenue is lower. Okay, the company's revenue is gone. That is why you will be not able to actually do it the other way. Okay, understood? Give me a example, like give me a example where a brand can achieve sales, like what are the ways in which they can achieve sales using marketing. What are the ways a brand can achieve sales? If you put Maggie, I will not understand. You have to write the full sentence. Physical store, correct. Selling on store, door to door, buy one get one, all is like promotional. Like what are the places, what are the marketplaces is my question to sell. Door to door stores is correct. Then quick commerce, e-commerce, then product awareness. See, funnels and all we'll see later, but what are the ways? Other ways, store, e-commerce, quick commerce is done. What are the other ways? Exhibitions, yeah. Exhibition also you can sell. Then fairs, then discount, then discount and all is like promotional activities. That is not the valid answer. Okay, we'll just sum it up for now. We will have in marketplaces, e-commerce, quick commerce, stores, B2B, sorry, door to door, and then store, supermarket, everything is stores only. So these are the major channels in which the sales happen. Okay. In the first class, we discussed about place, no? So place is something which covers these also. Now we have to understand whether a physical person is required to sell the product, or it can automatically, will it automatically be sold? What is the example for these two cases? A physical person has to be available to sell a product. And one more case is people already know. MTR people already know. If someone is not promoting also, they will buy. Okay. When is it required to have a physical salesperson to Sell a product. Less awareness is one, then not know about the product, then newly launched product, then the major thing you have to understand here is a salesperson is required to build a relationship with the person. It depends on which product you're selling. For example, if I'm launching a new product, penetration of market is very hard. To get distribution is also very hard. That time, what we have to do, we have to try to build the relationship where I'm going door to door, or maybe front of supermarket or very crowded area. I'm just having a stall outside the outside the D-Mart or any kind of supermarket where the footfall is more. Okay, now these days you have seen like there is a trend. People just take a stand and go and keep a cake stand kind, where whoever is passing by, they are just taking. Easily they're earning like 4 to 5 thousand per day. Why? Without even having a rental and all, they're easily able to sell and make money with 4 to 5 thousand at least. How will this happen? How will this happen is because when you're physically standing, when people are passing by, you can actually call them. You know, the few hotels and all towards this highways, there'll be one person calling everyone, standing almost close to the main road. Why? Because he's trying to sell, he's trying to provoke people that if you're, when they're going long, they feel some like to stop, maybe use a restroom, or maybe have a fresh air, or they may feel hungry also because they have traveled so long. So this action will force the users to actually come and have a dining. Okay, that is with respect to psychological behavior which people have. They are forced to do that. That is why the sales people actually come to a use. If I'm maybe selling a lift or escalator, that time I'm not physically present. I have to make sure that people try and test or see my elevator somewhere, that they have the trust, because these are very high value product. If you want to get a lift install, you have to spend lakhs. So it is somewhere where individual attention has to be given. It's about the skill the salesperson have to actually promote a product in a very good way, that they can collect the feedback and also try to build the relationship. Maybe if they're not buying today, someday they will remember about the brand. Or if someone, their friends want maybe a lift in the same price range, they will try to refer them. That is the impact a salesperson can leave. Okay, I was just talking to a person like this generally. There, what happened? Like he was telling that instead of doing a ad in maybe India Mart or maybe Facebook, Instagram, because I'm selling lift, it's easier for me, it's convenient for me to actually get a salesperson, give him a target to sell one lift at least in a month, and then tell that you will be getting 4% or 5% commission on the product sold's price. So that time the money you're spending on the advertisement to reach out to very right audience, who see on online, if they see, they will not buy a lift because the trust is not there. They have to feel it. If you product purchase is with respect to experience. Car, you'll not see it online and immediately book. Maybe there will be after generations, there'll come a time where you're booking your car online. But you have to have that initial experience of how it feels. That is why test drive everything was there. Same way, he was telling that instead of spending my money on advertisement, it's better to get a salesperson, give him same money, and tell that you'll get this money only if you're getting one sales. Okay. If, for example, you see this Godrej and this Brigade, everything sells apartment in Bangalore. Okay, how do they actually pull the right audience? Because they'll run a lot of surveys where they will try to see what is the package you're earning, what is the salary bracket you fall under, are you potential enough to get a loan? All these things they will try to. They would have tied up maybe with banks also, because as soon as a person want to take a personal loan, if they have the contact of bank, they can only guide there, which will make their buying decision faster. If you are allowing the customer to come back tomorrow, there are high chance that they will never come back. They would have went for some other brand, and then the conversion would have happened there. So it's very important for them to actually focus on how exactly the output is being tracked. Is this clear? Is this clear? Okay, next one. I told you the example of water filter, no? Problem solving beyond selling. What does this mean? Selling, if someone is purely into sales, they will forget, they will stop using their common sense. Their only goal will be that they should sell. But how actually they have to communicate? Everything is about emotional connection whenever it comes to selling any product, especially with the higher value. India being so price sensitive market, we 100% think about the product and the value addition for our life. So instead of trying to push and sell the product, it's important for the salesperson to understand what is the problem they're trying to solve with their product. Okay, so that people can actually connect with them and buy the product. Effective sales includes problem solving, solving customers' problems rather than just pushing them the product. Okay. Here we have push and pull marketing. What is push and pull marketing? If someone knows, what do you mean by push and pull marketing? I'll just give you 2 minutes. Think and let me know. I'll just give you 2 minutes. What do you mean by push and pull marketing? What do you mean by push and pull marketing? Okay. Everyone has very, very creative answers, but we'll try to understand what is the exact thing when it comes to push and pull marketing strategies. Okay. Okay. For example, I will give you a very simple example so that you don't forget. For example, today is my birthday. Okay. My close friends know that it is my birthday. Okay. I am they are texting me and they're wishing me on my birthday. So that is your pull marketing. You're not telling anything. They only have searched your name. They know it is your birthday. They will call you and they will wish you. That is pull marketing. Okay, there is second scenario where your birthday is done. You will upload crazy photos on Instagram. You will put the stories and all about your birthday, and there are few people wishing you on that story, and then they will try to message you, call you, and tell that, oh, sorry, I missed, I was occupied, belated birthdays. So, like that, they will try to do. No, this is push marketing. You yourself is putting story and then making people wish for you. Same to same, you try to relate with brands. For example, I've seen someday ad of Puma, but I don't have money presently to buy a Puma shoes. Okay. So what I'll do, I will try to make sure that I remember the brand. I am only going on their website on Google and I'm searching for Puma shoes. That is a like brand is not pushing. I am only pulled towards brand. So I am trying to search so that I can buy the product. Okay, this is one way. I myself is going seeing about the product. But when it comes to push marketing, maybe based on my impressions or based on my activity on Puma, Adidas will start showing me their ad. That is a push marketing. They're pushing you to buy the product. Okay. Yeah, promotion can happen, but a very simple example is this. Hope it is clear. Like, have you understood? Did you understand? Is this clear? Okay. Now we will understand the kind of demand which brands are creating. Like, for example, I'm a brand, I'm only creating the demand. I should be aware that whether I have so much of products available. Okay. Why is this a special case? Is because there are many cases where brand is promoting their product suddenly their products manufacturing is not that faster than the request coming to from the people. The momentum is lost, so the band gets invisible. Okay, there'll be some exceptions. Like, for example, no one had forecasted that LPG, this war would happen and LPG would um, get a cause. Like, it will suffer. No one knew that. Okay. So, because they didn't knew, there was a moment in which LPG shortage was there and automatically your induction price shoot up. It was not something forecasted earlier. That is with respect to movement marketing. Okay, where that movement, the demand was high, so brand had not forecasted the kind of products they have to. They didn't advertise nothing. People only demanded for it. That is okay because brand is not pushing, brand is not spending money on actually pushing people to buy. But when it comes to push marketing, you have to make sure that the products are available, the service are available. If I tell that I will teach one-to-one marketing from tomorrow, I have 3 hours. Okay, if I have 3 hours of time, I can't create demand and I can't reach out to 100 people. Okay, because if I get a lot of inquiry, I can't tell them that this month's start is book. Can you take it for next month? Okay, because in 1 month, people will forget you. You're wasting money on ad. After 1 month only, you could have run a separate ad targeting such small people. Okay, is this clear? The difference is clear. What value you're creating and how you're closing the deals is something which is very, very important. Okay, then we'll understand the business growth example, like sales strategy. For example, Amazon, Apple, and Netflix. Each organization has leveraged on each unique approach to sell their product and to generate the revenue. Okay, and also build the loyal customers or their brand audience. With real time example, we'll try to understand how they achieved a long term success. Do you know the story of Netflix? Do you know the story of Netflix? how did Netflix launch, or what is the story of Netflix? How did net I just give you 1 minute. You can think and then draft a message in case you know how did they become such a dominant player in um, streaming. How did they become such a dominant player in the market? Can you explain, like, can you explain so that I understand what is your understanding about it? Wait, Netflix started DVD rental services, became the global, adapting the internet era. Close enough, but it's not exactly right. Close enough, but it's not exactly right. See what happened? No, whenever a business is there, business forecast is very important. Okay, like for example, there was a brand called this Blockbuster. Okay, there was a brand called Blockbuster where their major service was with respect to their DVDs and all. Okay, there was a just a second, I'll just show it to you. Okay, there was a major thing which had Blockbuster. Okay, that particular brand which was there, they were the leading players in the market. Okay, when it comes to DVD, most of them would know Blockbuster. That is the kind of Yeah, that is the kind of market penetration they had. Okay, they were such a dominant players in the market. They also had established a lot when it came when with respect to what they had with Netflix. Okay, in early years, Netflix had went to Blockbuster and asked Blockbuster to buy Netflix. Okay, for 50 million dollars, I think. Okay, Netflix versus Blockbuster. If you see this one, my screen is visible, right? Like if you see the kind of valuation they had, Blockbuster, if you see that was the top, which had almost in 1994, 4.4 billion valuation, whereas Netflix was just founded and it was just at 50 million valuation, where they were ready to sell the Blockbuster in 2000 to Blockbuster because they were making a lot of loss. The company was under loss for almost 3 years, and then they were not able to sustain the market. Okay, the competition which Blockbuster had, they were not able to sustain the market. With respect to 2010, their valuation gradually went down to lesser than what the Netflix had, but the Netflix suddenly dropped. When Netflix founder went and asked Blockbuster told that why do people actually want to rent or want to buy the DVD and have that experience. They want to have the experience of watching a movie through DVD. That is why they're actually buying the product, is what Netflix told. Blockbuster told to Netflix. But what actually happened is Netflix believed in their idea that everything is going to streamline because YouTube also was something which was taking up. Okay, so they believe that people can't go buy DVD, and if they want to preferably watch one movie, they don't have any source or they don't have any place where they can get the DVD from. Maybe if I want to watch a movie, the DVD is not available in Karnataka, I can't get it from Delhi, right? That is why Netflix believed the idea, but people were not believing the idea because internet was not that much on demand. We didn't have like 5G that you can download the movie, watch movie however you want. There was so much of limitation with respect to external factors. That is why they didn't do. They had total 19,000 stores when it came to 1994. Okay, but today they have just one store, which is also treated like a museum. Okay, I'll just show the video. Maybe you can see. See, if you see here, it is entirely like a museum. The old DVDs, the old books, everything, whichever people were renting, the entire thing is now has a museum where they just imagine 19,000 stores if they are trying to close, how big loss it is for the company. What is the learning from this case study? Watch the video, then we'll continue. If you see almost all the Marvel, all these movies, Avatar, all these movies, everything is there because most of the actors would visit this place. That famous it was. Blockbuster was something which was ruling the entire film industry. What is the learning from this particular case study? Study. Is my voice clear? Like you can hear me? What is the learning? Like, why did I show this? Yeah, if you come from the Netflix way, that is the strategy. If you see from the Blockbuster, which was such a dominant player, they ruled the market. The valuation which they had was something beyond imagination for a lot of companies. Being such a dominant player, still they failed. Do you know the story of this Nirma? Nirma, that white girl who wears frock. Why I'm trying to explain the business case studies is because for you to understand how selling happens. Selling is not only limited to uh, the salesperson. It's involved from the product to what the brand is actually talking about. Then it comes to sale, advertising, everything together comes as marketing. If you have a great marketing, but if your product is not great, it will run till the momentum is there. Then it will automatically fail. Okay, but when it comes, if in the other way, if you have maybe a product where there is a great product without good visibility, then also the product will fail because people don't know the product to actually buy the product. Okay, why did Nirma fail? Fast, anyone? Explain. Don't tell yes or no, yes or no. Explain. Explain why did Nirma fail? Can everyone respond like why did the class become suddenly silent? Lack of innovation, competition, Nirma, ultra low product pack cost, the viewability of this thing, cheap price, not innovation, higher quality detergent with lower price. The major reason, okay, the major reason is because of the product they were trying to sell was something which was working when there was no competition, zero competition, their product was working. There was a lot of escalations, there was a lot of complaints which was coming when they were a major shareholder also. They had almost 70, more than 75% percentage sales with them. Okay, still they were not able to actually dominate the market. They were dominating the market, but they were not able to solve the customer feedbacks. Okay, the reason being that they didn't understand or they didn't try to rely on what product innovations they had to do. Their detergent was something which was sticking to the clothes and making the cloth dirty, dull. That is something which they had to focus on, but their focus didn't evolve. Where surf and all, if they came recently, you have seen the Surf Excel comfort ad where they told that you don't need to put perfume also. The cloth itself has dissolved perfume that you will smell good. The kind of innovation what people want, the adaptability also should be quicker, faster for them to dominate the market. Okay, think of any other brand case studies and let me know in the comment section. I'll give you 5 minutes. See, sales is more of interactive session. Okay, you have to tell your perspectives, then I have to tell mine, then only we'll be able to actually leverage better. Everyone can learn. You should explain, just don't give brand names. Okay, like I was reading this Nokia. Nokia is like something which is very, very well known. But now Nokia now is becoming profitable. Do you know how? Like, have you read recent one? This is a very good one. Nokia was something which is very leading brand, but it failed because it was not touch screen. They didn't adapt, and then they thought that touching screen people will feel that it may break and they will not get adapted to it. They assumed, and then they didn't try to leverage on that. Okay, so basic phone was there, but now Nokia is making profit. Do you know that? BSNL not able to, yeah, compete with Jio. This is also correct. BlackBerry, same problem like Nokia, Black touchscreen. Yeah, but now Nokia is making profit. Do you know that? That is what I was telling. Nirma lost the share because their clothes were getting. See, whenever people buy the clothes, it should be at least durable, no? If the this if any kind of detergent is spoiling your entire cloth itself, then will you prefer that detergent? The entire color is going, then it's almost equivalent to buying a new cloth. So, will you prefer such thing? That is the major reason. Actually, there is a video which maybe if I find, I will share it to you, where Nirma owner didn't actually plan to have a brand for detergent. You should read the story of that. Maybe if I find it, I'll share it to you. Very long back, I had read about it, where he was just someone who was working in small this commercial sorry this construction business. He was just an employee where he used to work, and then he used to see the concretes and all. He used to see and he used to experiment that jelly, that you know, like the small stones, all these things he used to experiment, like how things can be worked, everything he used to experiment the product. And then when he was going back home, he was tying that powder which he had crushed into his shirt which was dirty, and then he had kept um, behind his cycle, that cycle bar. Because he was continuously riding the cycle, the sweat made the cloth to actually dissolve in this. That he washed. Then he could see that the cloth had actually removed the stain. That is when he realized that why can't this be converted as a product? That is how the product actually launched. So what he started doing on cycle only, he started getting and going to different people to actually sell the product. This is how actually Nirma was founded. Okay. That is how Nirma actually was founded. It was something where the brand had to be doing a test and trial for them to actually stand out. Okay. That is the story of Nirma. If I get the link, I will share it with you so that you can like still deep dive and understand it. It is very interesting to see how brands grow, because as I told the earlier day, that once you know what mistake someone has done or what strength someone has have, taking that insight, we'll be able to leverage our business or any kind of marketing strategies which we do. Even there are more alternatives for Nandini than Amul. It's a dominant. Yeah, but Nandini's is what is, it is the exceptions. They don't want to expand. They feel like everyone in Karnataka have to use Nandini only. They are trying to make it as a regional product, not expanding. But Amul is definitely doing a very great job in terms of marketing. The billboards, they're using that girl very, very creatively for connecting. Yahoo was also the king of internet. Yeah. This one I was telling yesterday. I think I was telling in your session only yesterday that Google was something which was there, and then they didn't take that because Yahoo thought that it was something where people were adjusted to actually see the product and then buy the product. Then when they came to know what is search engine optimization, Yahoo got suppressed and Google became the leading player. Now, to give a great competition, there is ChatGPT, Perplexity. Have you heard about Perplexity? What does this AI do? When you What was Yahoo doing? All the information based your interest, it was actually showing. What did Google bring innovation? It works with search. If someone is interested maybe in clothing, if they search for clothing, automatically that will come. That is the innovation they bought. Okay, that is a slight change which they bought in terms of their market. What is ChatGPT or Perplexity doing? Google is giving you a lot of data which they already have, and then you have to decide based on the backlinking which is done. You have to decide which particular link you have to click, which you are interested, or you will click 2 3 links and see which is the content which is better suiting for you. Okay, but when it comes to chat gpt, what it will do, it will try. How does chat gpt work? It is in the terms of llm means what? Large language module, where there are a lot of modules and there is comparison getting done. Okay, for example, there is one product, it will try to map that self with the other product, and then they will tell, is this better or that better? Okay, then they will give you a final conclusion. That is how ChatGPT works, or any AI tool for that matter works. That is saving users time. That is why it is dominating. How is now Nokia becoming profitable? What question you are asking? Or AI thinks like human, generate exact data. See, think like human is something which is not at all valid. Okay. I have couple of Instagram channel I'm trying to manage with respect to content calendar. I've seen couple of my friends telling AI that think like a human, add human element and give me a viral script. If someone tell this, it will 100% not happen. You have to give some kind of information to your head and think. For example, the birthday one, I always think whenever I have my birthday, I will think, or someone's birthday, I'll be like, oh, she was a good friend of mine maybe 3 years back. Now I don't even remember her birthday. I'm seeing her status and then wishing. So this incident, I try to relate that with the push and pull marketing, which was something where I used ChatGPT to refine my idea and make it better with respect to script. But idea is something which we have to build, thinking and relating with respect to our use cases. What just ChatGPT does, it will try to actually pick what is the idea there, what already the market trend is happening, what is already existing. It is not doing any kind of innovation. It is trying to sort all the data and then it is giving. Okay, some kind of innovation if you're using, if you're strategically planning, some AI will not able to replace your job. If you're so much dependent on AI, 100% AI will take out your job. So it's very important for you to understand that where and how you're actually use AI, in which way you're using, so that you can dominate the market. Do you know how Amazon makes money? Do you know how Amazon makes money? What is the revenue source of Amazon? No, Amazon doesn't make profits with respect to their delivery app. They don't have a lot of profits in their delivery app. Uh, okay, before going to Amazon, we'll talk about McDonald's. How does McDonald's make profit? McDonald's shares are what? McDonald's shares? Ads. You're telling for Amazon or you're telling for McDonald's? McDonald's sell burger, right? Burger is a visible business, but their major revenue share comes from real estate. How does it comes from real estate? Is they have the ownership of the land in very premium locations where they have just one store of McDonald's, and that is a chain they have created to build their brand. Okay, but their major source of income comes from real estate because they own premium lands wherever McDonald's is there. Most of the land is something which they own and operate. Okay, they would have given the rentals for other properties also, which is the major revenue share. You can go and you can search what is the revenue share of selling burgers versus generating revenue on real estate. Okay. So what is the idea behind it? They're selling a business where they're making human connection and they're trying to build that relationship with users. But the invisible business, which is their real estate, is actually making profits for them. Same way Amazon delivery app is majorly definitely they're earning money from this advertisements of or promotions or sponsor ads, but it is something which is sufficient to run a company, not like profit making, because there is so much of resources management required to actually deliver products on time. Okay, if the order is misplaced, they want someone for support. If the support person is actually on leave, they should plan the backup. There should be a strategy to plan the brands prediction, because brands are also coming on e-commerce doing ad for them to sell the product only. So all these things requires human. Okay, all these things requires human intervention where there is a lot of money which is being spent. So you have to understand So you have to understand how differentiation you're creating and how what is the differentiation you're creating, how you're actually dominating the market. The Amazon's major revenue comes from AWS. What is AWS? Are you aware of AWS? Are you aware of AWS? Are you aware of AWS? Amazon Web Service. What does Amazon Web Service does? What does Amazon Web Service does? Cloud computing means they're providing the storage where they were trying to build people for them to actually rent the space. Okay, how McDonald's is making money through their real estate, same almost similar way Amazon is making money with respect to the data storage. Online they're giving rental space. Okay, logically or illogically, one thing we have to understand that storage is everything, data is everything. Okay, physical space or it is an online space, both are generating revenue. So data is the king. So data driven marketing is something which is important. What do you mean by data driven marketing now? What do you mean by data driven marketing? Data is sold to other. See, Amazon doesn't sell data because their major bread and butter is data. There are different companies which sell data. There are different companies for this only. But my question is, what is data driven marketing? Why is data driven marketing is the future? See, one thing you have to stop guessing and try to rely on data, because data is the king. In today's digital world, every click means what? What you're seeing online, what you're viewing, what you're actually clicking, which product you're clicking, what you're interacting with, everything lives a valuable data. Buyer persona, how is it done? Based on your past data. So every click, every views, every interaction lives a valuable data, but how you're actually making use of the data is something which is important. Okay, so in data driven marketing we have majorly four things we have to concentrate. First thing is we have to understand whether the audience we are targeting is right or wrong. Okay, the audience we are collecting, what audience we are collecting, is it right or wrong? Then, are we tracking the performance in real time? Like maybe if I see 30 days back data, someone is maybe interested in buying bed sheet, but today maybe they're interested buying a towel. So it is with respect to real time. Okay, how we are trying to optimize? Optimize means what? Based on whatever result we have got, how we are able to change and make adaptability much more faster. That is on that, and then predict the data trends for customers to actually rely on them and make the better decisions for them. So if you want to understand and forecast all the data. Data is something which plays a very major role for you to dominate and be a player, so that people can understand what is the end goal of the brand, where they're heading towards, what is their end goal. Is this clear till now? I'll quickly walk through what are the essential mindsets which are important for sales. Is this clear till now? Okay. Okay, once we have some product, we have to understand the kind of mind shift which is happening with respect to product. You can just read parallelly. I'll just explain what is written here. First thing we have to understand is how we are forecasting the kind of behavior the person has. For example, uh, I'm selling my straightener, okay, straightener to someone who thinks that touching heat for hair is something which is very illegal. Okay, it can cause health damage. Is some my prediction about hair straighteners. So it's very hard to convince such people for selling your hair straighteners. So what you have to make sure, you have to try to make sure that your product is something um which is actually not a pain point for what problems they have raised. That means that my straightener should be something which is adaptable, that it will not cause any hair damage or any kind of damage for the opposite person. That is why Dyson is something which is very on trend, no? Because it will heat up the air. It will not damage your hair. It will heat up the air, wind, not the hair. So that is the difference or the differentiator. They try to convince the customer to buy the product. Okay, that is about how you're actually pursuing the information. Maybe you can read this quicker. See, when I tell that, when I gave this example, it's about understanding the customer needs and then tailoring the solution based on what challenge they are actually serving. Is this clear? For example, in my home, there is no requirement of lift. If there is a salesperson coming to my home, then the kind of advertisement or pitching should be done addressing maybe the old age people living at my home, so that the problem is solved. Maybe if someone wants to, maybe my grandmom has to climb the stairs, it is very hard for her to climb. And if no one is at home, if she suddenly falls down, then there is no one to actually take care and at least lift her up. In extreme situation, that it can go, the situation can go worse. So the salesperson should take a different narrative, helping them to actually connect with what you're selling. Okay, I'm just giving you general examples. I have not prepared for the examples. It's something which I'm thinking immediately and telling. Maybe better solutions can also be there, but try to think. The more you think, you will be able to understand and link it better. Okay. And then we have to build the trust. What is the trust? Trust should be not for today. It should be for longer term on how people are thinking. Tell me any brand where you have bought the product just because you trusted the brand. You didn't know about the brand, but you bought just because you trusted the brand. No. Thank you. Bye. Yeah, head and shoulders. Uh, that kind of advertisement is something which pricks. Okay. Till today, I've never figured out which shampoo actually suit my hair texture. As a kid, when I used to go to mall or supermarkets, I used to feel like, why there is so much of shampoo? Because you see your friends, no one telling that using Sunsilk, my hair is shining like this. There is one more friend telling that you should use maybe a Clinic Plus because it is available every time. You can buy it instead of changing multiple shampoos. It's something which is easy and convenient because everywhere Clinic Plus is there. So all these perspectives, like, till today, I have not figured out which shampoo is there. Whichever comes to my mind, whichever I see, I'll just buy and come whenever I go to a supermarket. So I used to always think instead of having so many products, there should be only one product, because, however, that is just a competition between different brands. No, there should be one product which is actually telling that we are there here to actually solve your problem, or this is why you should use us. The differentiation should be very clear, not only tell about hair fall is not there, shininess is there, no dandruff. Instead of these claims, I feel like some brand should be there where they have some kind of innovation actually telling that why they should use their product and what is the results they can expect. There are few cosmetic brands which is doing now. It has become much more simpler, like the claims are true or not, we'll not know presently, because the results is something which is they tell at least for continuous 3 to 6 months you should use. And without having a childhood habit of applying a sunscreen or moisturizer, there are, in a month, at least 15 days you will forget. Then you will blame yourself that no, I was not effective using it, so that is why maybe there is no result. But when it comes to shampoo, you will 100% use it whenever you want to take a hair shower. So the results are instantly seen. Maybe there should be some kind of innovation done so that people can actually not break their head in figuring out or trying multiple brands than just using one shampoo. Yeah, you would also have faced different instances with different scenario, maybe if not, maybe with shampoo, some other situation where you would have faced. Try to understand, try to navigate, try to read about the brand so that it helps you to understand things better. Is this clear? Then, whenever you are into sales, you should never, ever, ever, as an individual, I'm also hardly learning the fact of telling no and also listening no from someone, because with the process, we have become so sensitive that rejection is something which is not that acceptable. Rejecting someone is also not acceptable. Rejection for ourselves also has become hard. If you're too much emotional, too much sensitive, or too much people oriented, you will think like 100 times before rejecting something also. Okay, recently I was just like, I had a situation where I was taking an interview, and then the candidate which was there was not that potential for the job role they were interviewing for. But then I started feeling like we should at least give a chance so that they can learn, adapt, and then prove themselves. So this kind of strategy, when it goes, you're actually hiring a wrong person. So it's very important for you to understand. It's easy for me to tell, but as an individual, even I face a lot of difficulty in telling no or rejecting someone or getting rejected by someone. It's very hard, but eventually, the process of life, we have to understand that if you want to do something big, it's okay to be banged off. If I go to, maybe, if I'm a content creator, I'm building my portfolio, that consistent is the key. Tomorrow, immediately, I'll not get result. Maybe my 100th reel will actually perform. To do that 100th reel, I should have that consistency and the acceptance to get rejected. Same way goes with business also. Whenever I'm doing a business, today I'm maybe starting a pickle business. I don't know how it works. I don't know anything about it. But one thing I can surely tell is how exactly I'm positioning, what is my adaptability, and how I am strong enough to face people even after being rejected. Even if, there was a study which was there. The book is somewhere here. I was reading a book recently which told that the greatest, I think it's here only. Um, this book, if you have seen this book tells about the greatest pain in life is when you have failed miserably with something, like maybe you have failed in your exam, or you have failed in a business, or you have failed in anything publicly in front of all whoever you know. That is the toughest situation, where fail can be anything. If you recently have a breakup and everyone knows that you were something where um, you would all long last forever, and suddenly if that situation comes, that is also a failure of any kind of relationship. So any kind of failure is the, we as humans starve that we don't get that failure. Okay, but one thing we have to understand, that the failures are something which is making us stronger. It's easy for us to tell, but it's eventually a longer practice which we are doing for us to make ourselves better, stronger, and also reductant towards the goal which we have. Okay. If a business fails, take the learning from the business. If a campaign fails, take the learning from the campaign and try to make sure how you can do the better. Okay. When it comes to relationship, because it is emotional connection, somewhere you will be carried away. If a business fail also, what people will think, how you will face the people, what people, oh, she tried this business, but it didn't work. She's trying one more. It will not work. Maybe last business got failed. Is it confident that this business will get success? All these mental traction which is going around is something which fo- forces or pushes someone to fail. Okay, so try to, from now only, try to learn how will you actually make yourself better as an individual, because ultimately it's you who want to survive in any kind of market given. Okay, try to understand the salesperson often face rejection, but from that rejection, what you're actually learning experiences is something which is valuable. This part of workshop will understand how it is to make the salesperson improve techniques to actually develop strong communication whenever, like when I started initially working, I was very bad at not communication, but about the kind of work, the kind of rapport they try to build. Like as soon as you have a weekend, asking people about the weekend, how did it go, you telling your stories. You should not overshare, also share also. There's thin gap which is very hard for someone to learn when they have just started their career. Same way in business also. If you have a vendor, it's important for you to share the information, but also not share so that they don't dominate you. Okay. All these slight minor things are very important for you to actually become a better salesperson and also grow professionally, personally, because it will make you eventually stronger. Is this clear? Okay. We'll end till here. Hope you have understood. Like any doubts, anything you can ask. Request you to ask if you have any doubt, anything about the class. If we don't have any doubts, take the assignment. I want you to take any one business case study and try to understand and write what are the business analytics which are there. Try to do that, okay? Try to understand. Marketing analysis where what how the brand was. Like for example, we saw about Netflix. No, similar way you can take the brands. Who was the competition? How did they dominate the market? How did Okay, then we'll wind the class for today. Thank you so much. Hope you have learned